I saw him. Stu was on the varsity team as a sophomore. Started the year at age 14. That's how old he was.
Wow.
He turned 15 during his sophomore year. Played with for Maximus Bach, along with Rick Binder, who was also on that team. And we scrimmaged. At the end of the year, my JV team, which had only lost one game, the varsity team went into the district playoffs. And we scrimmaged them. And toward the end, I asked Miss Bach, I said, how about letting me have Stu and put him with my team and see what happens? Well, what happened was he was a holy terror. He was really, really good. And Miss Bach knew it, but yet had resigned because of a family problem. And I was fortunate enough to follow him. But he and Rick were kind of like outsiders on that team. That team was made up of all seniors, and I don't think they appreciated what they had in those two guys. But I did. I saw what they had. So then I get the job. And first day of practice, I think we had 17 players. After the second day of practice, I had 8. They all left. I said, man, I can't put up with this. But I was lucky. The guys we had, Rick, Stu, Cliff Durham, some other guys in there, they were competitors, and they stuck it out, fortunately. The other one was Frankie Molina. He was the sub on the team. But everybody liked Frankie, still do. It was a competitive nature of Stu and those other guys that I really fell in love with. I can remember one game we played in Allentown, and Stu did not play well, and we lost. And after the game, he said, I'd like to apologize to the team for the way I played. And I said, please, Stu, sit down. You don't have to apologize. Just play better next game. I didn't exactly say it in those words, but that was the message that I got across. Then, one other thing, when he was a senior, we played Chester in the Eastern Final, I remember, and he got thrown out of the game. I think the referees overreacted. They threw 2 players out in the game of that importance. They should have called technical fouls on both of them and let the game continue. But they didn't. They overreacted. He was really upset, and should have been. But I knew the next game he was going to be good if we could get through that one. He was good. He dumped in 36 points, which was a record at that time, which has since been broken. But he was really good, and that's the kind of player he was. He was always the type of guy that reacted to challenges. He gave you what he had, and he was, above all, he was pretty darn smart too, which is what helps. Sometimes you get guys that play hard but don't know what they're doing. He did. Now he ended up scoring over 1,000 points. At that time, that was a lot, because we didn't have 3-point shooters, or a 3-point line. Doesn't matter, they wouldn't have shot him anyway, playing for me. We played a little bit different and played a lot more different kinds of defenses, and it worked out well for us. Then he went away to Oregon. Stu did. Was there and then graduated eventually from Seattle. After that, he was all over the place. He was an assistant to Rick Pitino at Providence. He was an assistant at Washington State, an assistant at Oregon. Coached the Knicks. He was the second youngest player in history to coach in the NBA. Had some other things in there too. Good God, I can't even remember all of them. Was the general manager of the Vancouver Grizzlies, which is now the Memphis Grizzlies in the NBA. He was with them, and a lot of other things. He was an assistant to the NBA commissioner. He was an assistant commissioner in the Big East. All kinds. I started to wonder if the guy can hold a damn job. But he seems to do the best he can. And when I looked at all the things that he did, coaching at the Wisconsin as well, he seemed to go higher up each time. Right now, some of you know, some of you don't know, he's, I think, the general manager of a team in France, a basketball team. And they won their league, I believe. And it's been a long time since they did that. I'm not surprised. Not with the kind of person he is. Not with the kind of parents that he had. His father was terrific. As a matter of fact, every time I see him, I see his father. It just reminds me of him. Smiled all the time. His father, well, not all the time, he was on the Reading School Board, so sometimes he didn't smile. But Stu is a definite reflection of his father and his father's personality, and something that he should be proud of, his legacy. I'm proud of it. You should be proud of it. And with that, I'll present Stu Jackson.